Okay. Yeah,
Correct me if I'm assuming
I
it.
agree with Pili. Where Pili's going. Oh, sige.
No, correct me if my assumption is,
Okay.
is mali. Pero when you say toxic masculinity kasi, the responsibility is heavily burdened on men alone. At least that's the first thing that comes to
Same.
mind
Yeah,
for
I
me.
agree.
Yeah.
But again, I absolutely disagree with that. It can definitely lead to, misogynistic tendencies or misandrist people, just spreading their beliefs on social media. So again, I completely believe toxic masculinity is an issue. It's definitely a widespread thing, but the responsibility lies upon everyone, not just completely men.
This
Maybe
is where
Okay,
this is
wait
where
lang.
I'm gonna draw the
Whoa!
I'm gonna draw a line in the sand real quick. I'm gonna just say my piece because at this end I have to disagree naman. I have my own, I have my own beliefs. First of all though, I wanna say thank you naman, Holly. I hope you're doing fine. I know a lot of people experience it the
Yeah.
same way. We can't really expect anyone to just be confident about it.
Nakuha may
So
pangalan, Holly. Nakuha may pangalan. Holly, nakuha mo
Di
yung
nga
pangalan.
eh. Kasi, alam mo
dapat.
ba,
Sayang.
Sayang.
they were even asking me, related ba kayo kay Pantaleon Salvador? I'm like, dude, Pantaleon
Dapat,
his
we
first
should-
name. And we were, my sister and I were like, we should have just said yes. Ano pangalan mo? Ganyan. Pero no, it's okay. We didn't do it. Because we really,
Sayang.
we were kind of scared and everything. So we were anxious. So we just did.
Okay, so next time this happens to you or anyone, like please message and like get the name of the people. It's alam mo yun, gamitin natin platform natin.
Yep.
And si
use
Kuya
the process.
X.
These are the guys in SC Tech. So if you guys are going, they have a checkpoint there. If you know, you know. If this happens to you also,
be strong and be
be
passionate.
strong.
Be vocal
Yes.
like DR95. But at the end, okay. Here's
my
my thing. Okay, with this whole bout about toxic masculinity, and I'm gonna trace it back to something called desire. It's a big word, but obviously, me personally, growing up in a household that learned to be very respectful around women, I always had the mindset that, regardless of your gender, regardless of your orientation, if you're a person that's upstanding, I'll respect you. Even if I don't know you, my first instinct isn't going to be, oh, I'm going to notice one thing about you and focus. No, I'm going to treat you as a whole person. I get where people like you, like Pili, Kyle, I get naman your whole standpoint na with an issue as widespread as this, everyone has a part. That's obvious naman. I don't think anyone can contest you when they say, of course, everyone has to do their part to help. Like women themselves have to be vigilant, have to be cautious, have to be smart. But this is where I come in and say, I really do believe that at this point in time, 2020, how many years has it been? There has to be a deeper accountability for men, which is exactly why at times like this, where people are super vocal, of course, everyone's gonna understand that women can do things, but we're always going to say men have to be the ones that are at the forefront of it. I'm saying this because for so long, there has been no change. It seems as though every time this issue comes up, and going back to what I first said at the beginning of the episode, that issues like these have been long standing, this particular issue, at least in the Philippines, it feels as though it's never truly developed into a widespread thing. Sure, people are coming forward with their stories. People are coming forward with their own support groups and saying we're fighting for this change. But in the general sense, if you ask the next,
It's not taken
Pinoy,
seriously.
yeah, if you ask the next Pinoy on the street, they're not gonna say, "Oh yeah, we understand."
True.
It's likely they're just gonna continue. So in the sense that it's not something that's so widespread, I really do side on the fact that now men should be the ones who are
Yes.
the ones
I
at the
mean, I'm
front.
just going to give an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, I understand that men are left to their own devices. Everyone is. And they do have the free will to, fix or change or improve themselves. But what I'm saying is when the responsibility falls upon everyone, it's not just, okay, I understand women are very vocal about this and men as well. But and for the majority, it's women. I'm saying the responsibility falls upon them because everyone has to be extremely careful and substantial at how they address the issue, how they treat men, how they portray men, especially people involved in media. They really have to be careful with how they portray men because you can't present toxic masculinity or issues like this as a black and white thing. There are
No,
other
exactly.
Wait.
facets.
Yeah.
why are you saying be careful with how people portray men? Isn't it like more like be careful with how people portray women? Because if you see like in media, women are always used as objects. In
That's
movie
true. That's true.
posters,
Actually,
movie
Yeah.
posters, you
there's a point
always
there.
just see like a butt of a woman, and then like guys like going "Oh," or something. Like it's so like I don't like I understand where you're coming from, Pilina. Everyone has a responsibility, but I agree with Rakna, men should be at the forefront of it, because it's really them ganyan. Sorry, not to generalize, but these men who are guilty of sexual assault. But wait, sorry, I want to add also na I want to add this because we're talking about also in that issue, we were talking about how it's women, parang it's how women dress. Okay, so I want to share with you guys a documentary. It actually won a couple of awards. It's called Walang Rape sa Bontok. So Bontok is a province in the Cordilleran Mountains wherein there are tribes, and then the women in the tribes, they don't wear anything. They don't wear like stuff to cover their breasts, clothes, and there's no rape. And you can just see na you can see na it's possible to have no rape no matter what you're wearing. This doesn't mean like I invalidate common decency. It's all like medyo common sense na din yon, like to um become decent with how you show yourself, of course. But at the same time, like that shouldn't be the biggest problem here. Like fashion is used to express people to themselves, to express their art. It's an art. So yeah, I think that's where I'm coming from with this whole toxic masculinity. We should just be more accountable with the people talaga, and the issue here.
Yeah, okay.
At
See,
hand.
okay. For me naman, like, I feel like my opinion on this is parang synthesized versions of like yung three of you guys combined. Okay. The problem is kasi social media is, again, like I said kanina, very murky, right? And we really being, hindi naman woke people, hopefully, being people who are more like who try their best to move around the space in a responsible, intelligent way, really have to mind the words. Kasi I find na yung problem ko, I have a problem with yung sinabi ni Holly, and I have a problem din yung sa sinabi ni Pili. Kasi my position in like here is, one, look, it's about time someone said it out loud na men really have like secret, only done with other men, disgusting like behavior.
Closeted, like it's for
I know that. It's okay. I've experienced it firsthand.
And I can genuinely say that 90% of all men have at least 95% of all men at least one time in their have exhibited this behavior. And I'm saying na kahit yung mga simpleng may dadaan ng babae tapos tatawa yung group ng all guys, or like may mga jokes, may mga hidden jokes. Of course, like we can't like blurt out locker room talk jokes here. Pero gets na yun, especially all the guys. Like real talk lang, sobrang real talk lang, ganun talaga. So in a nutshell, if you take a step back and remove the excuse na masaya siya or yung excuse na we've been doing this ever since we were kids. Pag tinanggal mo yung dalawang excuse na yun and you just look at yourself, like imagine those conversations as a bystander na wala kang parang wala kang sentiment towards the fun of the group or like yung mga ganung joy. It's disgusting. Honestly, I've been sige, I'll use na lang myself as an example na looking back at it now, especially mga high school days, early college, sobrang kadiri siya. It's disgusting behavior. And I've done it, and I can genuinely say, I'm not generalizing. Any guy who tells me na hindi at least 90% ng gender natin have done it is joking. For me, okay, so I guess tama nga yung sinasabi ni Holly na majority of the responsibilities is sa men for now. Because unlike if women naman do some of those toxic stuff, the resulting stuff that happens, like actual harassment, like physical harassment, isn't as seen percentage-wise. Malayo. Nagmamanifest din yung mga jokes natin na ganun eventually in men's life.
Mhm.
Malayo
Yeah,
percentage.
true.
So, I do agree with Rock and like Holly to the degree na, to say na, a lot of the responsibility, predominantly, is nasa guys. Now, before, sige, I know Pili, baka may rebuttal ka Rock, pero for Holly naman, I just have to say also na, I understand the whole, like, my tribe somewhere else, right? That walang rape at all, and they can make it.
Different culture.
It's a different culture, but I understand din naman the point you were trying to make. What I'm trying to say here lang is, by all means, being, again, going back, intelligent and responsible people online, we can never say the line, I can wear whatever I want. That's misleading. That is highly generic, and seeing how social media works, how quickly people misconstrued words, that is very, for me, that statement, if lumaki siya and like masyadong pinanindigan, might be as horrible as toxic masculinity.
To a degree, okay. I understand, I think, where you're coming from, because the context you're putting it in, correct me if I'm wrong, is if someone will use the word, I can wear whatever I want, it means that they can forego any kind of formal dress code.
Yeah,
Something like that. Like,
and you might say kasi na parang, yeah, Kyle, but like people listening to the show, we're not dumb. Obviously, that's not what we mean. But it's social media.
Yeah.
Like, if you put it out there,
it gets twisted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
super
gets
twisted.
twisted. Like, what you intend is not what it comes out to be.
Exactly. And like for guys naman, so I think yung pinaka-thing ko here is, as of now, because of the facts, I don't care about anyone's feelings, because of the facts na toxic masculinity manifests into abuse, because of the facts lang, it's 90% the responsibility of men. The first and probably the biggest step we should be taking to solve this whole abuse thing comes from guys. Okay. Does that mean that girls can take it too far? Heck no. For
They
sure.
need to have responsibility.
Exactly.
Sige.
So I think medyo misleading din yung statement na equal responsibility. I don't think it's equal responsibility, or I can't even say
It's a shared responsibility.
Pag shared kasi, it might feel like 50-50. I feel like kailangan importante lang to state na, guys, it's predominantly on you guys if kaya nyo to take the hard step forward and changing a very cultural, what I think is cultural, thing embedded in your life. And women, help us out. Don't take this too far, like with every other movement.
Okay, yeah. I understand. I super get where you're coming from. But I think from us girls, when we say we want to wear whatever we want, or like, for example, I understand that, yes, words get twisted, and maybe what you think in your head, or like a lot of people think, is that we're gonna go out in like our underwear, or like super pec shorts or whatever. But then okay, but like parang like one of my colleagues even said that even just wearing a tank top is already like, parang it's already such a dangerous thing to do. And that's what we mean when we say like, oh, we want to wear whatever we want, like to show a little skin, or because it's hot, due to some conditions. Yeah, sorry.
Bigla na naman
Yeah,
yung
but
bitaw na una.
yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So ano kasi. And with that in mind, parang if you think about it also, since we are just talking about like how women dress, then how come like some men are also getting sexually assaulted? Okay, now we actually have an issue recently, right? About a man also sexual with like a lot of victims that parang accuse this man of sexually assaulting them. So parang how do we, like, then we can see na parang it's really not about clothes at all, because if that were the case, then how come yung ibang guys doon na hubad, yung mga hubadero dyan, they're not getting raped naman. Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
come for a woman, if I just wear, yun nga, parang like a tube or something, I feel like I feel like I won't be safe anymore. Like, I always have to constantly think about my safety, and I have to think about whether or not, like, you get where I'm coming from. Na
Oh no,
parang,
Yeah.
absolutely. No. It's not
yeah,
lost.
yeah,
Like it's not a lost the train of thought, because I think at the end of the day, naman, from what I think we've all put our points out, naman, we all unanimously agree that at the very least, when it comes to defining the roots of this issue, it's simply that each person has had a specific mindset growing up that leads them to doing these actions. Whether or not that translates to how these issues of how people should dress, how other people should word their thoughts, that's where it lies. That's the first issue that comes out of this thing, is that each person has
Mhm.
come out with their own mindset and they truly believe that is the status quo. Like that's the mindset that should be. So in that case naman, obviously, I think I can say naman in that regard, Holly, at least for the very deep example that you put out, there's so many specific cases that we just we have to view each one with a set standard and with the knowledge that we have now
I agree.
to
Mm.
approach that specific instance with the knowledge that that person has grown up differently, but we should also hold them accountable. Sorry, mistrued words. So in that sense, let me bring up another example, very recent, that a lot of people might be knowledgeable of as well, because it hits a bit close to home. Hey, if you want to check the rest of our content, see our Facebook and Instagram links in the caption, go click that. Or if you want to go down to our Spotify page below to keep up with the discussion while doing your chores or with whatever else you're preoccupied with. Is there something else you want us to talk about though? Comment down below and we'll make sure to hear you out. But thanks again, and here's to the next.